How's it going, everyone? Andy here from 4K Downtime, back at you with another 4K video. So Nintendo have just finished talking about their Nindies showcase. Apologies right away, I was actually at work when this video aired because I aired at 4. I didn't finish work until around 7, so I can only get around to making the video right now, so apologies for the late reaction vid, I guess you could say. But I just want to go brief into it and just talk about my thoughts and everything and why overall think whether it was good or it was bad. So overall impressions of it is that I thought it was okay-ish. Like it wasn't. I've already seen people saying that it was disappointing. Apparently they didn't show what they want and that kind of stuff. And I agree that they really didn't show much, and the stuff that they did show, not a lot of them were that exciting. Like, you know, so I just get that right off the bat. But for me personally, my major issues with it is that most of these titles, almost all of them, had no release date whatsoever. All it's been saying is like early summer, late winter, or whatsoever. And to me, that has always been a major pet peeve of mine. It's just whenever you announce something, especially something like indie games, I kind of felt like most of these, is there a reason why there's no concrete release dates whatsoever? Because this just kind of makes it feel hard to look forward to a game. It's like, okay, end of summer, so my guess is just like, alright, what, July, late June, something like that. I just felt like they could have narrowed down the release date a little better. The fact that most of them didn't even have any release dates whatsoever, it just makes me kind of felt like, alright, okay, is it because you're just not that sure, or is it it's just like you could potentially see it getting delayed, that kind of stuff. So that in itself disappointed me quite a bit, and I legitimately just thought like, okay, that's just, yeah, it just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Because whenever I see stuff like this, as soon as I see you show a game and then you don't show a release date, it's really hard for me to get excited for it. Like, that's just me. Of course, that's just me though. But anyway, just a brief like glimpse about some of my thoughts on these titles. Again, I'm not going to go through all of them, I'm just going off the ones that I could remember. So there was Lightfall, which seems to be the game that most people was hyped about. It was a platformer where you jump around and you could put out these blocks, like summon these blocks that push you forward or whatever. Imagine playing Super Meat Boy, but you could create platforms. Like, it's very fast paced and it looks really good. So that one, in my opinion, really cool. I'm not sure, like, you know, again, no concrete release date, so I just couldn't really get too excited. But what I did saw there looks really promising. Then there's Bomb Chicken, which looks, the name itself is weird enough. So he basically lays bombs, and you could, they're environmental puzzles. So each time you lay a bomb, it's like it stacks him higher, so you could use it to traverse the environment. And obviously you lit the bombs to make certain of the levels appear and blow certain bits up, so you could actually reveal kind of like a secret passway or just uncover some secrets. Again, looks interesting. It's about as weird as the name, so if you think the name is weird, then yeah, if you see the game, it looks even weirder. Then there was Mark of the Ninja Remaster. Looks fine. Not really much to add other than the fact that it just looks fine, perfectly fine. I think it's probably going to be just as good. West of, I think it's called West of, that game called West of Oving. I forgot what was the actual name. It was this Stickman game that was kind of like cowboy themed. Again, it looked fine, kind of unique, I guess you could say. The whole game is black and white. Some people have said this game looked a bit cheap, and I don't really blame them, because it does look like, because it's just they use stickmans and that kind of basic stuff. And like I said, no colors. It's essentially in black and white. So I need to see more of that game. Maybe if I see more, I could see whether or not this is a title that I'm going to buy. There was the Pool Panic game, which it's an interesting take on pool from what I'm seeing of it. Again, very wacky, very weird. That was probably like the theme of this showcase, is that most of the titles that you see are very wacky and awkward. They legitimately look weird to me, but in a good way. Not exactly that I found them disturbing or anything like that. It's just weird in a kind of like quirky kind of like, way. Then there was that new fighting game called Fantasy Strike. Just like all the other games, it looks really funky and weird, but in a good way. I do like the sprite work of it. It looks pretty good, but you could clearly tell it's definitely an indie title, which nothing wrong with that. But you could tell somewhat of a budget title. It's not like a full-fledged fighting game like Street Fighter where there's tons of content. It definitely looks like a budgeted fighting game, but looks interesting. And definitely, to me, by far the one that really stuck with me was The Messenger. That game is like Shinobi plus Strider plus Ninja Gaiden, that kind of game. That trailer looks really funny, and the music is catchy as hell. I love like the old school Ninja Gaidens, and I love the Shinobi games. Obviously Strider is a big one of the best Genesis games in my opinion. And this game reminded me all of that. And what I like about it is like this game, at first it looks like an 8-bit Ninja Gaiden game and everything, and it really does look like it. But then there was these at the end, at the very end, he goes into this warp zone or something like that, and all of a sudden the graphics turns from 8-bit to 16-bit, and I'm like, wow. It almost kind of like I think in the game world it's like him going to the future, because once it turns to the 16-bit, he looks a little older. The character looks a little older. I know it's 8-bit, 16-bit, it's really hard to tell, but if you watch the trailer you probably get that vibe as well. So this game, really looking forward to it. Looks amazing, sounds amazing, and I'm pretty sure it'll play amazing. This is literally the one title that I could say without a doubt I'm going to be getting it as soon as it comes out. It just looks really cool, and I can't wait to get my hands on it. But yeah, that's pretty much just my overall thoughts on some of the games that they've actually put on there. Again, I don't think this showcase is bad per se. I just felt like a lot of these games that is actually pretty unique. Weird but unique. But my biggest problem here is that, like I've already said at the beginning, a lot of them have literally no release date whatsoever, other than that just brief mention of late summer, early winter or something like that. I felt like you really should narrow these release dates a bit better. The fact that more than half of them, like 3/4 of them, have no release dates, it just really felt like this showcase was pushed out just for the hell of it. It almost felt like you're trying to do this too early when you weren't even ready. The other thing that really disappointed me, and this is my personal thing, and I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that has the same issue with this as well, it's simply the fact that a lot of the earlier indie games that they have announced last year that have went MIA, they have literally didn't talk about it again. For example, one of my favorite indie games that they talked about last year was Pocket Rumble. I love the look of that game. It reminds me a lot of the classic Neo Geo Pocket Fighters. Looks awesome. The music was great. But then it went MIA. We didn't heard about it ever again. Is the game still coming? We don't know. It's like I would have really was hoping that this indie showcase was going to literally tell us that, oh, look forward to it next month, or whatsoever. I thought like there would have been a concrete release date by now. The same thing goes with Showdown, Showdown Hawaiian. I believe that game was called. I was really looking forward to that one as well. Again, they've never mentioned it again. No release dates, no nothing, and we simply just don't know where did the game went to. Same goes with was it War Groove or something like that? That was like the Advance Wars indie title. That looks very promising. Never again was it mentioned, and this Nindies showcase didn't talk about it whatsoever. Essentially, what this Nindies showcase did here is that every game that they showed, the good thing is we haven't seen any of these prior to this showcase. The bad news is most of these we simply don't have a concrete release date on all of them, which is funny considering how these are all indie titles that look like they should at least be ready to go, but maybe there is still quite far off from release. But then again, why the hell did you even bother making this showcase if they are clearly don't seem like they're actually ready yet, or at least ready to go? But yeah, guys, that's just my my overall thought on the Nindies showcase. again, I didn't think it was bad per se. I just literally felt like it felt unnecessary, at least like not necessary to do it right now. My guess is that maybe they did it right now just purely so they could get themselves prepared for E3 a little bit better. But anyway, that's my thoughts, but I'd like to hear what you guys think, so feel free to comment in the section below and we can have a discussion about it. If you like this video, please consider subscribing and giving it a like. It really helps us out. If not, you can hit a dislike. But anyway guys, we thank you very much for watching, and really appreciate the fact that you guys are watching our videos. I know it's not much, but we do want to appreciate those who actually took their time and just come onto our channel, leave a comment whatsoever. So just want to let you know that we very much appreciate it. So thank you very much. Have a nice one guys, take it easy.